Nope, that's definitely not jungle. Alright. That is birch? That's not jungle either. We're still not finding it. We're still not finding what we're looking for. And this is spruce, which is not what we want. And then grassland. Nope, that's not it. This really is bad. This really is a bad game, this part of it. What we're doing now is a bad game. The biomes need to figure something out. I mean, I've talked a lot about it already in the previous videos. Either have some clue, either make them closer together so they... Is that desert over there? Is that a cactus? That's desert again. Either make it so that they're closer together so that you find them more quickly, or have some clues as to how big the dry biome... Like for example, a dry biome. What if it's just drier in the middle and wetter at the edge? Is that a dead horse? A horse died here and left leather. Let me just grab this. Somehow a horse died here. Multiple horses died here. Alright, got some leather out of that. So what if it's like drier in the middle of the dry biomes and then wet outside, so then it'll be desert in the middle, and then it'll be mesa, and then it'll be savanna, like in rings, or in not like, it doesn't have to be like clear fixed rings, but in roughly the ring. So then, if you walk and you find a savanna, you know that if you keep walking into the dry biome, you eventually reach mesa, and then you keep walking into the dry biome again, eventually you'll reach desert. Just have some pattern to how the biomes are arranged, right? And so, like, the desert really shouldn't... Well, I guess it can be next to the sea. In the real world, desert can be next to the sea if the prevailing wind blows from the land out to the water, right? So the water that evaporates from the ocean kind of gets blown away from the land instead of towards it. But there's no wind in Minecraft, so like none of that makes any sense. I mean, if there is some logic to the way biomes are arranged, then maybe this will be better. It'll make it more consistent. So as you like, walk into forest, it'll be like a flower forest, and then a forest, and then a deep forest, and then a jungle, right? So you just kind of, as you go deeper and deeper in, the biomes change to bigger and bigger trees and denser and denser undergrowth. So if there's some level of predictability, then you know what's going on. Or alternatively, there's some way to make maps of places you haven't been to yet. Just maybe like a rough, low resolution, high level map. Some way to like sense distance terrain. So it's not really useful for you to, like, it doesn't actually map at a level that's useful for building and spelunking or exploration purposes. But it's just, you just gotta have a high level map of roughly where biomes are around your spawn point. So anything, just anything. I mean, just as I'm sitting here in my boat, looking at these really big spruce trees, I can already think of like several options for making this better. And like it's not even taking me a long time to come up with these ideas. Like if you can make a if you make a really big map that gives you like rough biomes, like if you can have rough biome colorations, that'll be good. That would be quite good, in fact, I think. I think that would improve the game, I really would. I mean, you might say, well, then you don't need to explore. Like, you know exactly what the deserts are, you know exactly what the mesas are, you need to explore. Look, exploring is bad, alright? I mean, exploring on foot, or it's not that exploring is bad, it's that the large scale exploring is bad because like, your movement and your walking is so slow. Like the small scale exploring, which is like walking up and down mountains to pick up resources, that is interesting at a small scale. So the exploration at a certain scale it works. Like if you're walking through a biome looking for resources, like it works at that scale. It works at the scale of let's say several hundred blocks. But exploration doesn't really work at a scale of several thousand blocks. Because several thousand blocks is what we're doing now, and it's just this is not interesting. Like we're just sitting in a boat and rowing. And like we're not challenged, we're not solving any puzzles, we're not doing anything interesting. So so like if you create a map that solves the thousand block scale exploration, but it doesn't help you for your 100 block scale exploration. Oh, that's a dungeon. What kind of dungeon is it? And do I care? Probably don't. Is that a dungeon or is it something else? It's not a dungeon, it's just... Wait a minute, what is this? But there's nothing else here. Oh, wait a minute, it belongs in this biome. Okay, never mind, there's moss cobble in this biome. Um, yeah. So if you like make a really big map and it just shows you where the biomes are and how big they are, that doesn't tell you like where the trees are, where the mountains are, where the beaches are. Well, I guess it does because it tells you where the ocean biomes are. Like, but it's too rough to actually tell you where the resources you actually want are. So let's say you're looking for a cat in a jungle. It will tell you where the jungle is. It doesn't tell you where the cats are. Or like if you're looking for an ocean temple, the map will tell you where the oceans are, but it won't tell you where the temples are. So, so like it just kind of solves the large scale problems of exploration, and then it leaves the detail exploration as interesting as before. What is that? Okay, that's just weird sand. Because things change when you change the scale, right? Some things are fun when they're small, but not fun when they're big. And then other things are fun when they're big and not fun when they're small. So like, at a certain scale, things are fun. Like if you spend 20 minutes going to a jungle, grabbing some resources and going home, that is good. That is entertaining. If you spend 4 hours, which is what we're doing now, if you spend 4 hours trying to find a jungle and not finding it, then that's not good. So at a certain scale, this could be good. And again, the question is how do you make it consistently good? Like what do you put into the game to make this consistently good? Also, so home is that way. We've gone around a big circle already. And all we have here are really big spruce trees. Really, really, really big spruce trees. And no jungles. Again, what? How big is this spruce forest? Hold on. This spruce forest is massive. You guys are seeing this, right? It's just it's one continuous spruce forest for like thousands of blocks. We're still looking at spruce trees. Oh my god, it's the same thing but with a different biome. Last time it was just deserts and savannas, and now we're here. Oh, it's ocean temple, crap. Last time it was deserts and savannas, and now it's just spruce. Small spruce, big spruce, back to small spruce. And what's going to be next? More big spruce over there in the distance. Of course it is. It's just alternating between big spruce and small spruce. This is not right. This is not right. This is No Man's Sky level of bad. I'm sorry to say it, but this is as bad as No Man's Sky. Because we're just not finding it. We're just not. Look at it. We're alternating between small spruce and big spruce, and it just goes on and on and on. Why would they make the terrain generation algorithm do this? Why would they do this? And what is that? Desert? Is that ice? Or is that ice? What is this? Snow? It looks like snow. I can see like white lines in the distance. Alright, now we're in ice. Which is still not what we want. We are not even playing large biomes. This is mind-boggling. I mean, these are small biomes. The only problem is they're alternating between small spruce and big spruce for several kilometers. Wait, what is that? What is? No, those are oak trees. Those are oak trees. That's an island. Never mind. Those are oak trees. And then more spruce. Look at that. There's more spruce over there. Holy crap! It's the same. Are you kidding me? Look at that. Look how much spruce there is. Look at the spruce. Why? What? It's How big is this place? How is that even possible? And what is that column? What is that column? Is that a thing? Is that a glitch in the landscape? What is this? It's like a block of sand there. What is that? All right, well it's still spruce. This is I can't believe it. I can't believe it. What if they just make the algorithm so that you can't have alternating biomes like this? Like if there's spruce and then there's bigger spruce, you can't go back to small spruce again. You just can't. It's not allowed. Just look at this. It's still spruce. This is so boring. This- what we're doing right now is so boring. This is Minecraft. How much spruce can you have? How many hours of spruce can you have? How far away can the jungles be? Alright, the spruce. I think the spruce have finished. Now we're going to mountains. After all that. Alright, we're done with spruce. Alright, now we're in the mountains. And there's a giant floating rock. Why is that rock floating like that? Also, is this ocean on the other side as well? Do I just go through here and keep going? That's spruce again over there, and that is spruce again over there. Alright, well, let's see what this is. That's spruce again, that is still spruce. I mean, we're probably just skirting the edge of this massive, 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 massive spruce forest. And that is still spruce. No, we're not done. I thought we were done with the spruce, but we are actually not. Alright, now we go into deep forest. We transition from spruce into deep forest. Still not a jungle. And then we transition from deep forest into mountain. Still no jungle. Nope. Alright, we're gonna go back around this mountain. I can't believe this is happening. Why would this happen? This doesn't make sense. So let's talk about something slightly more interesting. So the mob traps. I'm thinking we're gonna install like a mob grinder at the spider spawner and at the zombie spawner. The question is, how do we build it? There are a number of options, right? This is a pillar of stone, really. There are a number of options, right? So we can use lava to kill things, which is fast, but a small percentage of the items will just burn in the lava if they fall the wrong way. We can use a drowning trap. The drowning trap is possibly the easiest to build because it's just water. Easiest and also safest because if you... So the drowning trap works because the AI will always swim upwards in water. So if you put them in a column of water that doesn't have air above it, then they'll just swim up into the column and drown to death. And drown. So the drowning trap, really, it's just you have flowing water push them into a column of water where there's no air pocket at the top. They'll swim up into it, drown, drop their items, and then you have hoppers underneath that to collect it. So drowning takes longer. It takes longer to drown monsters than lava. But the thing is, if you have a big enough drowning trap, then you're not really limited by the speed of the grinder anyway. You're limited more by the spawning, the speed of the spawning, so that it spawns every few seconds, a new hostile mob. So yeah. And the drowning trap works for creatures of any size and any shape, which is a bonus. Where the lava, for example, if you put the lava at head height for zombies, then spiders might just sit underneath it and not get burned, and baby zombies might just sit underneath it and not be burned. Let me not come in here. Let me just sneak my way out. Never mind, you can't go through there. Right, let me just go around it. So like baby zombies will mess up your lava grinder, I think. Whereas the drowning trap literally works for everything because everything swims upwards in water. Except that squids will also spawn in there every now and then, which is not good. The issue is I also want to be able to switch off the grinder and kill them manually. So that's relatively easy if you have if you just use slabs to create a half block gap You can swing your sword through the half-block gap and hit things on the other side. So I guess we can just make it so that you can turn off the drowning, or just block off the drowning with the pistons. So then all the mobs just stand there, pushed by the water into a dead end. And then you're there with your sword and just swiping through the hole in the wall, swiping through the half block hole in the wall, and then the items drop down into the hopper and get collected into a box. So I think that's the design that I'm gonna go for. I think that'll be good. All right, now we have, what is that? Oak forest. We went from mountains back to spruce, and now we have an oak forest. There's another village in the distance.